Oh, yeah. SMB in this bitch, baby, you already know. You looking real good over there, too. Can I call you?
Baby, can I call you? You been looking right. Apple bottoms fitting tight. Swear to God I won't bite. Baby, when I call you later on tonight, we'll spend some time, baby, it'll be alright. Baby, can I call you? Say, baby, can I call you? Say, baby, can I call you? Hey, I just wanna call you.
Baby, when I call you, can I come through for a minute? Just to say hello, I wanna see how you living. Come fuck with me, ma, I'm on the grind, on the mission. Still on my floss and shit, money I be spending. Still don't know you, so I'm thinking where your man at. Hope your hair straight, cause I know that ass fat. Seen that ass in them jeans, I gotta have that. Apple bottom, baby, can I call you fat, fat? Hat back, shades black, Gucci duffel bag. Ain't nothing but stacks and baby, you can have that. I'm A.B. the bank, carrying stupid hella stack. And it's all for you, girl, money like
baby,
that.
can I call you? You been looking right. Apple bottoms fitting tight. Swear to God I won't bite. Baby, when I call you later on tonight, we'll spend some time, baby, it'll be alright. Baby, can I call you? Baby, can I call you? Baby, can I call you? Baby, can I call you?
Oh, just answer. Trips to the Hamptons. And you love a nigga cause I'm looking so handsome. Fuck your man, damn him, he ain't understanding. So how the hell you love him and he sounds so random? Can I call you sometimes? We can chill at my place. He hit me with a text, he said LOL, smiley face. Looking for the finish line, really gotta win this race. And I think of calling you every time I see your face. So pick the phone up and just answer for a nigga. I got time and cash and I'm trying to spend it with you. With your good combos, you're the ones that you remember. Remember, you can call me cause I'm a good
baby, can I call you? You been looking right. Apple bottoms fitting tight. Swear to God I won't bite. Baby, when I call you later on tonight, we'll spend some time, maybe it'll be alright. Baby, can I call you? Baby, can I call you? Baby, can I call you? Baby, can I call you?
Yeah, look, yeah, baby, I can't wait to fucking call you. It's the boy Keith's murder and I'm a fucking baller. Take you out shopping, baby, you and your mom. You know I love you, but I hate that motherfucking drama. I done bought you everything from Prada. Then you go and tell your friends I ain't the baby's father. So I hold like that green like a monster. Then I break down a white like a fucking chop. Now, I can't wait to fucking call you cause you're so awesome. But I'm sad cause I just fucking lost you. Dang.
Baby, can I call you? You been looking right. Apple bottoms fitting tight. Swear to God I won't bite. Baby, when I call you later on tonight, we'll spend some time, baby, it'll be alright. It'll be alright, girl. I said it'll be alright, girl. Said you rolling where it came, girl. This is SMB. Swear to God this a hit. Goddamn, it's gonna be a hit, girl. Yeah, it's SMB, girl. Said it's SMB, goddamn, it's SMB. Baby, can I call you?